Basically, the next bucket that we would look at is, digestion. So, I mean, there's a lot here. There's and again, there's a lot here in terms of what you see online. And it becomes super confusing because, somehow it's linked to all of these fad diets. Somehow it's also linked to people trying to promote certain products. Um, I even saw the other day something super bizarre like keto pills that, somebody was saying that, they lost crazy like 100 like pounds, and it was all over Instagram that they developed it while they're in university. I mean, listen, I think it's very simple. What we try to do is we try to look at the stuff that's, evidence-based, scientifically based stuff. Um, and whatever else is out there, if it's not backed by any evidence, we're probably not going to talk about it. And I'll give you examples here. So I think the main point here is to increase, the burning effect of foods, what it takes to digest. Um, and again, here's a whole bunch of stuff you can find online, and some of them may be true. You know, I've, seen some stuff about cayenne pepper and green tea and, all of this stuff. But we focus on where you can actually get the most out of doing a specific regiment. And in this case, protein-rich diet definitely, you saw it in our previous section, it definitely has an impact. So we go back to what we said in the previous podcast. It's very simple. Digesting protein takes 25 to 30% calories. So it's simple. I mean, we had this in the previous section for a reason. So I mean, if you turn around and you focus on this part, on saying, okay, I just need to kind of up my protein, take in more protein in my diet, then you're going to burn 25 to 35% more calories in that, digestion process of those specific calories that you've taken in. So I mean, again, it's very simple the way we do it. I mean, here you can see the chart is simple. It shows you what, your basal metabolic rate is after ingesting proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. And you can see proteins is considerably higher. So again, how much should you be doing? For us, it's also simple. Up to 1.4, let's say, per kg, or 0.62 per pound of body weight. That should be your daily intake. So if you weigh 70 kilos or 154 pounds, it's about 95 grams of protein per day. That's the upper limit. And we're going to do a whole thing on protein and how much protein do you need, if you want to build muscle, if you want to, um, bulk up and things like that. So I mean, or even for strength training, let's say. So we'll do a separate section on that one. But again, this is just for simplicity's sake. You're going to turn around and you're just going to increase your protein. This is the upper limit. You can turn around and say, okay, I'm consuming, because once you start tracking, you'll know I'm consuming only 50 grams. I want it to be 75 grams. So I'm going to increase the amount of protein that I consume per day. Again, is there anything else? So I think another point is, fiber-rich food. So we discussed protein. Fiber-rich food definitely has an impact as well. I think, I was hearing this even when I was a kid. 100 grams of lettuce takes, much more in terms of digestion. Sorry, 100 calories of lettuce takes more than 100 calories of digestion. So it's almost like, you ate something with a negative caloric balance. So I think, fiber-rich food definitely takes more out of your digestion. And I think, again, let's not try to, make it super complicated. Um, when you eat highly processed foods, um, stuff that's full of corn syrup, full of refined sugar, and saturated fats, basically what happens is that it's very easy for your body to process that. So I mean, when you have uh, an ice cream, a highly processed ice cream, it's very easy for your body to turn around and process that. There is no burn from that because it directly goes through your system. And you can see this example here, where they've quantified it, where basically it's 47% less burn when you take processed foods. And I think this makes it easier for you to be able to determine what you're going to do when it comes to fiber-rich foods. It's just we mentioned in the previous podcast, you know, simply increase your fiber and whole foods. I mean, you hear people talking about whole foods. I mean, it's funny because even that word whole foods, there's some confusion about it because I saw somebody recently, an old friend of mine, that was she was promoting her brand online, and she wrote made from whole foods, and she was talking about a brownie, and I was just like, okay, a brownie cannot be a whole food. A whole food is basically like a nut is a whole food, right? So there's nothing been processed or extracted from it. Um, the oil from the nuts is not a whole food. So I think it's just simple. I mean, just consume more vegetables, more fruits, um, nuts sparingly because you know that they're hypercaloric, or just account for them. But all of those things are going to impact your digestion, and they're going to increase your calorie burn because that's what it takes from your body. I mean, we go back to the example which I said in the previous podcast where I was telling you about juice. And juice is extraction of water, sugar, and some minerals from the fruit. That's very easy to digest. That goes straight through your body, and it doesn't require any effort from your digestive system to turn around and digest juice. But when you turn around and you have the actual orange or fruit itself, it requires quite a bit of digestion to extract all of those different nutrients, and also deal with the fiber. So again, keep it simple. I think this one can be interesting. Increase your protein, increase your intake of fiber. You'll know best because once you start tracking, you'll be able to see those things. And it can be as simple as just turning around, putting a realistic target of how much you want in terms of protein, and just being realistic and saying, okay, I'm just going to increase, my fruit and vegetable intake by, 1, 2 pieces of fruit per day, or whatever it is.